Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Look Forward. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Brad.
You know, some of the listeners in the Discord joked that we should get press credentials and go cover CPAC this week. And, you know, obviously we laughed it off because what a ridiculous notion. On the other hand, in watching videos from there, I think they could really use the bump in attendance if we were there.
It's like 9 people there, dude. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I gotta tell you.
So incidentally, I only because of our schedule is that not a possibility. Because if I was free, dude, like, come on, man. Who doesn't want to go to CPAC and see the crazy? It's like a zoo where you get to you just get to touch the lion. Like, holy shit, he's right there.
I feel like you could have tricked him. Because you could have applied for a credential with your name, like just been like, oh, like it's me, Jay, and then sent them my picture, and they'd have been like, oh, this is perfect, like this is exactly the type.
This is our guy here. Well, no, I mean, if we presented ourselves like that name, no, too progressive. Forward, get the fuck out of here. No, it should be called or just go backward, right? Don't look up, right? That's what it should actually be. I think if we had presented ourselves as conservatives, like I feel like a Bacardi and Cola conservative team, they'd have been like, "Oh, this is the future, baby!" Like, let's fucking go. Like they would have given us like the fucking American flag.
We could lie about our names. You'd be like, "It's me. This is your host, Jay Owens, with my co-host Brad Shapiro." Like we are,
dude. Okay. Remind me, please don't let me forget. Please don't let me forget. This is a bonus hour thing because I can't put this publicly. Remind me to tell you about a job description I saw for a job I almost applied to the other day.
I already know.
No.
What it is.
No, not the one I sent you. Not the one I sent you today. No, this is something different.
No. I think I know what. I still think I know what you're talking about.
Okay,
if I recall, because I think you might have sent it to me before. So.
Oh, okay, all right. So just please remind me. I don't want to forget.
Yes.
It's too fucking good. All right, so let's get right into it. Rupert Murdoch admits to handing Joe Biden campaign ad information, handing over Joe Biden's campaign ad information to Jared Kushner during the 2020 election before the things aired. That's a problem. I believe the word they use there is collusion, right? Like this is the thing. This is the thing. Remember Trump? They gave Hillary Clinton the questions of during the 2016 election, like.
Like I said, I was about to say, I am old enough to remember Republicans insinuating that Donna Brazile had like giving the Clinton campaign debate questions beforehand was like a punishable by jail offense.
Yes. Meanwhile, you are giving Jared Kushner not only ad information, but like campaign advice. Right, based on that ad information.
Well, not only that, but he allegedly gave him not only like what was in the ads, but also like time info, like when they like statistics on like when they plan to like air and stuff like that, so that they could potentially like counter program and things of that nature. So,
which is crazy,
stuff that's very proprietary. So
right. So the FEC is he could face. Rupert Murdoch could face FEC fines for that. But, like, look, Rupert Murdoch is a multi-billionaire. That is not going to affect him in any real, in any real level. So I'm not particularly impressed by, even if they were like, it's $10 million, he'd be like, here it is. Like, I found that in the cushions of my couch.
But I say my couch cushions, like, let me shake them out real quick. Here's 10.
Right, like, that's irrelevant. Money is not the way you hit him on this, right? What should be a part of the understanding of all of this is that these guys are deeply, deeply corrupt, and they're not a news organization. They are a political media arm, is what they are. They're no more. That's like saying, I can't even give you like a left equivalent of that. Like it's just ridiculous that there's no arm of the left that exists as that big, right? That is just a news organization solely designed news organization, in quotes, solely designed to parrot right-wing bullshit, right? Now, keep in mind...
Well, Jay, if you're to believe Republicans, every media outlet in the mainstream media, except for Fox News, is a political arm of the radical left.
Yes, CNN, the newly rebranded CNN. They're right there too.
Right. Let me tell you.
What a fucking joke.
Yeah, man. It is funny. So I think we talked when the Dominion suit was announced, that, Discovery was going to be fucking incredible with this stuff. And it's both shocking, but not surprising, kind of the stuff we knew that we're finding out here, because it's like, when you read all this stuff, it just kind of confirms what we already knew. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like that these are like bombshells that are just like taking us completely off guard. We're like, oh yeah, no, we figured this was going on.
Yeah.
Like, it's just nice to have confirmation of it. Yeah.
Right. And what I find interesting is I heard a clip on Hayes' show where I forget which weekend host it was, some fucking guy on Fox, and he basically said like, hey, dear audience, I'm not allowed to talk about this case because, for secrecy reasons or whatever, or my bosses don't think it's appropriate. And it's like such a cop-out because they literally won't report on it. And because their audience only listens to them, they have no idea about this entire story. They don't believe anything.
Or they see it, but they don't believe it because they think it's just concocted by the left. When, again, these are court filings. Like, these are court documents that are being, brought in depositions, essentially, being like, hey, exactly. Like, this is fucking what's happening here. Look, man, it's about time this bullshit caught up with them, and it's about time they ran up against somebody who wasn't going to take this shit lying down. And the thing that's funny to me, because we talked last week about like the Tucker Carlson text and the Sean Hannity text and all that stuff that was revealed, is that like you had to have seen this coming. Like if you're going to go on airwaves and verbally defame this company and just talk all this utter nonsense that is bullshit, like, do you really expect them to just sit there and take that shit lying down? They did. I think they did. Like, they did think that. Yeah. Because obviously they wouldn't have done it if they thought that there would be any consequence on the other side. Or maybe they would have anyway. Like, maybe they did realize that this was a possibility and they're just hoping that they can get by, lightly singed instead of completely torched. And who knows, they might. Because I'm pretty sure that Dominion is going to win a defamation case as a fucking like slam dunk, especially if this is like, if this is just a sampling of what we're seeing. But the penalty that's assessed, it could vary wildly. Like, I don't think they're going to get the fucking billion, whatever is it, $1 billion or whatever that they
should though. They really should.
Well, yeah, agree.
Like they should, especially from the perspective, like, it's bad enough you talk shit on them and you were wrong, but to talk shit on them and then in text know that what you were saying was bullshit. Like, that's the worst part. Like, yeah, you defamed me or whatever. And like, maybe they, like, let's say in a different world, yeah, Fox News gets brought up on, this case gets brought against them because they're defaming the shit out of Dominion. But then they do Discovery, and in the text, like, they believe what they're saying, right? They're like, no, Dominion is obviously evil, blah, 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 right? They actually are completely in on the entire thing as far as like, they are like true believers. Mm-hmm. You can understand why they would say that, but in that case, you could still hammer them. You would still lose, right? You can't just defame a company like that. That's fucked up. But they knew what they were saying was a lie. Mm-hmm. And that makes it that much more devastating that here are text messages of your guys, your major guys. And it's not some random dude on the weekend. Tucker Carlson's your biggest person. And they're like, yeah, this is all bullshit. Why would anyone believe this? They have to be crazy. But by the way, don't fuck up our stock prices.
Right. Like, well, it's funny because you mentioned Hayes. He was off for a couple weeks apparently, and he came back this week from vacation, and so he missed like the beginning of this stuff. He went like scorched earth rant on Wednesday against like Fox about this, like righteous indignation type of rant.
And he hates Tucker Carlson, dude.
Oh, I know he fucking well, and he specifically talked about Carlson. He's like, look, this is a guy who flamed out at his last two big, the last two big cable TV gigs. He's willing to do whatever he can to fucking hang on for dear life to make sure that this. So and it just kind of goes to show you, as powerful as Fox seems, and they are, like they definitely have sway. They're really fucking just terrified of losing everything that they built, and that's kind of the modus operandi behind everything that they're doing. Is this fear that could all crumble away? It's kind of built on a house of cards in a lot of extent, because the point's been made. They're not controlling the narrative anymore. They're now the ones being led around.
Yep, by the audience.
and not the other way around. They're the tail is the proverbial tail wagging the dog, right, kind of thing.
Well, so. And like, to give it one more metaphor, they are Dr. Frankenstein, and they created a monster, and now the monster is down in the village killing people, and now it's coming back to the house to kill them, right? And they don't know what to do, and all they can do is just like, would you like more candy? Like, please don't hurt us. Like, that's all they can do, and they're terrified of that audience, and they fucking should be. But at the same time, what is going to happen? What is going to happen if Fox News suddenly loses its like true clout, right? And every year they're like, well, I don't know, is this the year Fox News? Like, no, they're not going anywhere. Like, they got a lot of grandmas and grandpas just watching that shit 24 hours a day because OAN and Newsmax literally are just not as available, right? Like, if they were as ubiquitous, Fox would have a real fucking problem. Nobody was happier about OAN and like the cable companies having a problem than Fox. Like, Fox was like, fuck yes, take them off the air. That's great for us, right?
Coincidentally, also not a story that Fox bothered to take very much time to.
No, because why mention them? Why even mention them? Just let them die. Why even mention them? Don't give people a reason to look out for it. Nope, just get it out of there, right? So, by the way, it goes to show you how small OAN is. They don't want to pay those cable companies because they don't have the money to do that shit. Like, they would get back on air if they could.
No, again, like we said, it's the other way around. The cable companies pay them to have their network on the air, right. And apparently DirecTV not offering enough, and they're like, we want more, and DirecTV's like, no.
There's 9 of you. Who cares? Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. So, like, it is fascinating to watch Fox scramble like this, because they're a behemoth and they don't normally have to scramble. But I think this whole idea, I mentioned this last week too, where, CNN is doing that. They have that new CEO who sucks, and they're doing all that new rebranding, trying to make it sort of like quasi-conservative, and they're trying to pull in more Fox people. By the way, it's not going to help you. Your ratings are still shit because people who actually want discerning news don't want conservative news. They just want news. You can say whatever you want about MSNBC, but they at least deliver the news like they do.
Well, and I think that people at this point are pretty like building your brand on both sides is not.
Doesn't work.
Is not a path to success at this point. Like, you have to have at least like a guiding ethos that you fucking have. So.
And nobody and for Trump, like I said last week, for Trump to come on and be like CNN, like mentioning how CNN is his channel now, like, the worst thing that could happen is that they pull all the Fox News viewers, or a majority of them, probably the younger Fox News viewers. Because, like, older Fox News viewers are like, CNN is evil, right? Like, they're not going to change, and they're going to be around for 5 more years anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter for them. But younger Fox News viewers might be more susceptible to, like, ooh, this new CNN, like, this is like the new Coke, right? Like, I like it. If Trump can rip those people away from Fox News over to CNN or over to OAN or Newsmax or something like that, he truly has control over the entire party at that point.
And I don't even think it's necessarily a Trump thing. I think that if you're a right-wing extremist, Fox is not extreme enough for you. So you're probably already migrating towards like OAN and Newsmax and shit like that, because that's what's really feeding you. And really, you're probably watching like InfoWars and stuff of that nature.
Yeah, you're already.
But if you're not, if you're not extremist, but you're still like a dyed in the wool, I'm not even going to say conservative. If you're a fucking dyed in the wool Republican, getting CNN to have more Republican-y viewpoints and programming, that's what will get you away from Fox News. It's not necessarily Trump telling you to come and you're going to go. It's just having an alternative to Fox that's kind of, maybe that's like a Fox light, but still has enough of that, red meat that you want to sink your teeth into. That's what will get you to move off of Fox and go somewhere else.
It'll be interesting to see what happens in 2024, because that's where you're really going, the 2024 race, because that's where you're really going to see what this new CNN is, right? Mm-hmm. Because when those debates come up, when they start to pick moderators and things like that, that's going to really be telling of just how far they're willing to go. Are they going to still like run the thread, or thread the needle? I don't know. It's funny, like CNN gets such a bad rap. The left hates CNN because you're like, this is such mealy mouth bullshit. You won't call, you won't call balls and strikes. The right hates it because on occasion they do call balls and strikes.
Right. Well, they have the perception of being a liberal news organization.
Right. It's like, maybe Trump shouldn't have said that. And they're like, what the fuck is your problem? You're like, wait, what did I do? Right? Like, just pick a side, right? Like, you either going to be like hard truth, and that's okay. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, I don't need you to actually be a political side, but either be hard truth and like, we're going to tell the fucking news as it is, or you're going to be a propaganda arm for one of the two. But if you're going to pick option 2, being a propaganda arm for the left or the right, you got to pick one of those. Like, you can't be a propaganda arm for both. Like, it doesn't work. Yeah. Like, it simply doesn't work. And I don't think they can out MSNBC. Like,
no, like I said, MSNBC is too. You can say what you will about them, but they're still too much like in the news, covering the news stories. I think the best example is like if there was a left wing, like a Democratic version of George Santos, that would still be covered often by MSNBC. Like they would be.
Yeah, they would what the fuck is this guy's problem?
Right.
Yeah, they still would.
Whereas Fox is not gonna touch that very much.
Right. And look, I know it's gonna fall on deaf ears for conservatives, but like we all realize that there is a left wing sort of bias of MSNBC's like their like nightly hosts, right? Like they're your Chris Hayes, Joy Reid,
Hayes Maddow, Joy Reid, Lawrence O'Donnell. Yes, that is the left wing super block of fucking
right. Yeah. Nobody on the left is under any like weird thought process that like, oh, they're just in the center. They're not. Like, they wouldn't tell you that.
Yeah.
The difference though is everything else on MSNBC is the news. Fox News is not that. You ever watch Fox News in the middle of the day? It's all garbage.
Yeah.
Even
fucking like morning, like MSNBC's morning host is a former Republican House member. Like Joe Scarborough used to be in Congress as a Republican.
Right. And he still on occasion says some pretty right-wing shit. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about?
Michael Steele is a frequent contributor to to fucking MSNBC. He's the most successful GOP chairman in a generation or two.
Yeah, maybe or two, right. So, like, it's not like they all leftists. Like, there really isn't, dude. Like, that's not the way they are. So it is kind of interesting. Again, I know that falls on deaf ears because it's like, oh, you just believe that because you're on the left. Like, it's not a belief. It's actually backed by facts. Like, again, you can objectively watch Fox during the day when they don't have opinion hosts, right? I'm not even mad that they've got the jackasses like Hannity and Carlson and Laura Ingraham.
Yeah, like Neil Cavuto has a fucking obvious like conservative bias.
Right, he's supposed to be a regular news guy. Yeah, he's supposed to be a regular news guy. Like any of the during the day shit, it's all conservative. Like again, Fox Business. The reason why it's not very popular is because people don't want to hear conservative business news. They want to hear business news. Like, dude, is the stock going up or down? Why are you telling me some bullshit?
Right, it said fucking Stuart Varney's on here, like fucking talking about the woke media and fucking woke corporations. It's like, bro, like give me the stock prices. Like I'm not tuning in for this shit for this.
Yeah, I'm just really here for the money. I don't know if you know that. I don't care.
And I gotta tell you, the fact that I know who Stuart Varney is pisses me off. Why the fuck do I need to know who Stuart Varney on Fox Business is?
He sucks, by the way. He sucks. Not a fan.
He's like the he's like the British Lou Dobbs, basically.
Ugh. I don't like him. He's had a couple runs on different things too. Like he was on CNN, I think, for a while too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's like Tucker Carlson. He's had a couple of failed runs, and they were like, I don't know, Fox Business, and he was like, all right, like good day, whatever. I don't know. Not something British people say, actually. But yeah, so he made it over there, and he sucks there too. All right, let's talk about insulin. Eli Lilly, the major insulin company, drug company, says they'll cap insulin at $35 for out-of-pocket costs starting this year, not in 2027. It's not coming when Avengers Kang Dynasty comes out like 5 years from now. No, it's happening this year, everybody. This is a big deal. In the words of Joe Biden, it's a big fucking deal. Eli Lilly has announced that the cap of out-of-pocket costs for folks for insulin is $35. Its price of non-branded insulin will be reduced to $25 a vial. And the cost of insulin has skyrocketed in recent years as pharmaceutical companies have raised prices, with many people paying over $1,000 a month in insulin products. This is a 70% reduction in cost, by the way, to the consumer. Never forget that Biden just got the Medicare Part D, was it Medicaid actually?
I think it's Medicare.
Yeah, Medicare. Sure. Yeah, Medicare Part D plan. They had capped those folks on Medicaid or the Medicare Part D plan. They had capped their insulin cost at $35 as well, which is
as part of the Inflation Reduction Act. So.
Correct. So,
yes.
What's the deal here? You buying this? Like, is there a dark lining to this, or do you think they're doing it because, hey man, I see a storm a brewing and I might as well just get out ahead of this?
Obviously, they're doing it because they see a storm brewing, because they understand that this is a bipartisan, like this is an issue that has sweeping bipartisan approval. Like as far as voters, like not necessarily Republican.
Okay, I was going to say not voters. In Congress.
Voters are wildly in favor of capping, especially prescription drug costs, but especially insulin costs. Yeah. They already got it. The federal government already took care of it for Medicare Part D and Medicaid, like you said. And as we've seen before with situations like this, that's likely the first domino. And so if you're Eli Lilly, better to get in front of the fucking train yourself and just eat that. Because at least up front, if you're the first ones out of the gate, it does give you a competitive advantage in the marketplace, because then you're going to sell more. And then, hey, how about that? The free market will actually take care of the problem. It just takes one person to jump off the cliff, and then the other ones are going to be like, shit, Eli Lilly's about to fuck our asses. We need to do this too to stay competitive in the marketplace. That's how the free market's supposed to fucking work.
Yeah.
And
like, it's so funny, like at $35, like that's a great deal. They could have made it $50 and it would have still seemed amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they probably would have quieted a lot of Democratic politicians that were pushing for 35. They would have given them like 3/4 of a yard, and they've been like, okay, cool, like that's good.
Yeah,
like,
here's the thing. If I was those politicians, I'll take it. Like,
yeah,
I'll take it. Like, what the fuck? Who cares, right?
But because Biden specifically, like this isn't even like a progressive like Bernie Sanders thing. Biden specifically has been out there on the fucking bully pulpit talking about $35 insulin, $35 insulin, $35 insulin. And he's been saying it. And again, that's the power of having someone who is an effective president of the United States, because that is a person that can shape public opinion. And that's why Trump ultimately is an idiot, because he can't stay focused on one idea, and he can't, and he doesn't have any discipline that's his issue, is that he's completely undisciplined. Whereas Biden has been talking about this and talking about this and talking about this. And when you keep saying that, when you keep saying it over and over and over again, it sticks in people's heads, and they fucking remember it. And then that's how you start to sway people to your side. That's what the president is kind of supposed to do. Like that's kind of their whole deal. Is like, they're supposed to drive the messaging that the party wants to drive, because they have the loudest megaphone. Yeah. And they have the most opportunity to get out in front of a camera to say this shit. And so I'm not surprised at this at all. Like this is why, one of the reasons why Biden's been such an effective fucking president, is because he understands the issues that are important, and he fucking hammers them in. And then all of a sudden companies are like, oh shit, like we better fucking fall in line, because he might be able to rally some support behind this.
And look, I do want to give, I agree with you 100%. But I want to give, I want to give some sort of definitive numbers here for people who don't have to purchase insulin. I am not a person who has to purchase insulin personally, so I'm not as intimately aware of what it actually costs. Effective May 1st, 2023, the cost of non-branded insulin, and these are all through Eli Lilly, insulin Lispro injections, 100 units per milliliter, will drop to $25 a vial. The previous price was $82.41. It's a pretty decent jump, man. Again, from $82 down to $25. That's a big difference, especially if you're on a fixed income. Effective Q4 of 2023, this other one, Humalog, will drop from $274.70 to $66.40. Again, that's huge. Humulin, which previously cost $148.70, will drop to $44.61. So over $100, right? Mm-hmm. I was trying to get some information from somebody who is more of an expert on this particular topic, but it's not like this is the amount, from my understanding, this is not the amount you would be using for an entire month. Like you would have to do this maybe 2 or 3 times. So, you wouldn't be paying $275 for Humalog once a month. You're probably paying closer to that 2 or 3 times a month. That's a lot of money, man. And so to drop that cost that significantly is huge, right? Again, Humalog is over $210 less now, or will be. So this is a big deal. This is a huge deal. And for folks who do need insulin and heard about this and maybe need some more information about it and stuff like that, you can go to insulinaffordability.com to download a savings card to purchase Eli Lilly insulin for $35 a month, even if you do not have insurance, which is a big deal. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is great news.
And I mean, this story also just kind of goes to show you that this is why kind of the Republican strategy of just let businesses do whatever the fuck they want is not viable. You have to regulate businesses, or at least threaten to regulate businesses, and mean it when you say it. Mm-hmm. And if Republicans truly did care about people and not just companies, there's a way that they could certainly threaten regulation to achieve their whims against businesses without actually doing it. And that would kind of satisfy their requirement of being like, hey, we're not putting all these regulations in place, but these companies are still doing the right thing. You gotta have a big stick, and you gotta be willing to swing it. That's the big thing. So
100%. Look, again, this is a big deal. It's a really, really big deal. This can help out millions of people. I think it's in the tens of millions of Americans have a need for insulin. Mm-hmm. Help them. I don't give a fuck where they're from. I don't care who they vote for. Help them. You can't afford, like, the amount of people who make, very modest incomes who are paying thousands of dollars on insulin. That's insane. Like, they're literally, the article talks about, it's from Healthline, like, it talks about, like, insulin insecurity, right? Where people are rationing insulin and stuff like that, like, trying to, use their diet as a way to regulate their insulin, which, you have to regulate your diet anyway, and that's just generally a good thing. But if you have type 2 diabetes or type 1 diabetes, like, you need insulin. Like, you can't just make this shit happen just miraculously. Like, it's not how it works. So it'd be cool if it did, but it doesn't. So, like, you can't just have people rationing it because they quite literally cannot afford it. Like, and there are plenty of Republicans and plenty of Democrats who need insulin. This should be a fucking easy slam dunk thing. But for Republicans in Congress, they're like, well, do they really need to live? I mean, I don't know. It's like, it's nuts to me. Next up, speaking of nuts, is there some sort of contest that we are unaware of between Texas and Florida of who can be the shittier state?
Maybe in their minds, such a contest exists.
Like, they're like really running for the bottom, man. Like, they are. It really is quite. I would use the word impressive, but that's not the word. And
look, I gotta say, this round, we're going to talk about Florida in a second, but I feel like that this round it has got to go to Texas.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Texas. This is a Texas state bill, not a federal national bill, but Texas bill HB 2889. Or the Handmaid's Tale bill, fucking the HB Broodmare 5000. Get married, stay married, and be fruitful and multiply, as Brian Slayton, who introduced this bill, said. The idea is that if you have children, if you get married in Texas and you stay married. Doesn't say for how long. I find that curious. Like, is it 6 months? Like, what the fuck? If you get married and you stay married, again, who knows what that means? You get a 10% tax reduction on your property taxes, right?
Oh, it's probably in perpetuity. Like every year, like if you're filing married, then you're just like, oh, cool, 10%. There you go. So
yeah, because marriage and children are the foundation of America and a healthy society. Whatever. Meanwhile, single young people in Texas are just banging like crazy. I ain't never getting married. Fuck Texas. So if you're married, you get a 10% property tax reduction. If you're married and you have 2 children, 2 or more children, we'll talk about the third level. 2 or more children, they can also be adopted, by the way. I'm going to talk about that because that's an important aspect of this. You get a 40% reduction in your property taxes. Okay. But if you have 10 or more kids, you get 100% property tax free, baby, for the Duggars.
Well, I think isn't it a sliding scale? Like, for each kid, basically you add 10% or something like that onto the fucking thing. Like isn't there kickers where you get more percentage off the more little food eaters that you pop out there?
Crumb snatchers is the political term.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I don't know what property taxes are specifically in Texas, but I do know Texas on a state level has notoriously very low taxes, right? That's their
they have low state income tax or no state income taxes. Like, it's either low or no. Like, it's incredibly low. So I think their property taxes tend to be a little higher than the average state. So
okay, but you get 100% off if you strap your wife to a bed and force her to have 10 children, which is insane. Yeah, you get all that off. Look, this is just making women into broodmares for money. It's fucking weird. Like, I have no problem with, like, I'm a person with a child. You are a person with a child. We are both married. We get a tax, we get a tax credit for having children. That's all fine and good. This is like, they literally talk about like the population, waning. So like, we got to create more kids.
Yeah.
Relax. Like, relax. There's 7 billion fucking people on the planet. What you mean to say is you want more white kids. And that's
correct.
That's what this really is.
And here's the thing. So obviously, like, they're framing this as, hey, the more kids you have, the more tax relief we'll give you to put more money in your pocket to take care of the kids. I don't care what your property taxes are. It's not going to be anywhere in the ballpark of being able to like offset the cost.
It cannot possibly. I put that in the Discord too. I was like, "There's no way this offsets." Hey, I got 10 kids now. I don't have to pay property tax. Well, how big was your fucking? I guess your property has to be fucking pretty huge, right? Like, to just have all of these fucking kids running around. Yeah, but like just feeding, clothing, taking care of them in the most general of ways is extremely expensive. 10 of them
now. I read somewhere also about this bill, and I don't know if it's true, so I'm putting that caveat out there, that this bill would not include gay families who.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead.
Kids.
That's part of the reason why I mentioned the adoption part. No way that includes them, which is unacceptable. 2, my other issue with the I think it's admirable. I think they're likely coming from an admirable place of saying, well, look, if you're adopting kids, that also counts. Like, we're not, like, you're equally taking care of those kids too. They're your kids, right? Here's my problem with it. There will be people who adopt kids just for these taxes, and I don't like shit like that.
That already happens now. I know. Like, you already see that with government assistance. Like, there are absolutely people who farm that system.
Yeah, and like foster care and stuff like that is notorious. Not all people who foster kids. Like, there's some very great people who do it, but people who take advantage of those systems, and they don't give a shit about those kids. They just give a fuck about the money that they're getting, right? So I am concerned about that, as this is another mechanism for people to take on kids that they don't give a shit about, just for money. So, like, as a parent, like, I don't like that shit. Like, it bothers the fuck out of me, and I don't like that you're using kids as a way to reduce, like, people's taxes. Like, don't do that. Figure out different ways, because it always, when that system gets gamed, kids get hurt in that. Always. 100% always. So I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of making women into broodmares to save money either. I'm not. Like, look, if you want to have 35 kids because you're one of those Duggar fucking psychos, like, that's fine. Like, do you? I don't care. Go to your compound. Please don't ever get on the internet and talk to anyone. Just go there, close the fucking door, and never come out, and fuck and have as many kids as you want. I don't give a shit. That's on you. But I don't need people doing this just to save money. It's not a cost saving mechanism at all. Right. It's not. And I know Texas would have you believe that it is, but it's not. Like, if you don't have any kids, you're like, well, just have 10. Like, nah, don't do that. That's a disaster.
I mean, and we're also kind of like skipping over the like the marriage part of the bill, like stay married. Yeah. Man, I can't imagine it's a good idea to put even more reasons and more incentive in place for couples who probably shouldn't be together,
right?
Kids or no, to force them to stay together, especially in situations where there might be abuse going on, and things of that nature as well. So,
yeah, again, incentivizing marriage and having children, stuff like that, it seems really solid and smart on the face. It generally isn't. Like, it just isn't. Like, pick other reasons. Just figure out something else. But people just having sex to have kids or adopting kids and stuff like that. No, because they will they will do shit like this for all the wrong reasons. Because people get money hungry and they think about like, nah, man, don't do that.
Aren't these also the same people who fought against same-sex marriages by saying that the government, has no place in like getting involved in these kind of matters?
Of course.
Just just thought I remember that. Just wanted to get that out there. So
irrelevant, Brad. Irrelevant. I said that last week. This is this week. But that's the thing is Republicans are notorious for that, right? I mean, we're not going to play it on the show. You should go watch it. The 8 minute and 30 seconds of Jon Stewart just dunking on a right-wing gun guy, but they don't
not just a right-wing gun guy. That was an Oklahoma state senator. I don't know if you caught that.
Oh yes, yeah. I did catch that. Yeah. But basically saying like, you guys are willing to destroy free speech and stuff like that for this other thing that you believe. Like that's not how that works. Like you can't do that. And that's what they're willing to do. They don't give a shit. They're not consistent at all. All right, let's go. So that was Texas putting up top ballot crazy. Let's see what Florida's got. Florida coming in hot here. Florida bill would make bloggers who write about the governor register with the state. I'm sorry? What?
I have so many questions. I have so many questions about this proposed legislation.
Yes, go ahead, Brad.
So first of all, is Ron DeSantis actively trying to support and help craft the most bills that would get struck down for First Amendment violations in history of any governor ever?
I mean, it certainly feels like that's what he's gunning for. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah. So that's number one. So number two, so the proposed law would force bloggers who talk about the governor to register with the state and submit monthly reports or face fines.
Yes.
From the state. How, in what universe is this enforceable? And also, how are you going to enforce it on non-Floridians, especially as I would imagine that many people are going to be blogging about Ron DeSantis as he's gearing up for a presidential run?
Yeah, and also, how do you track down people who are anonymous? Hey,
or people that are smart enough to use VPNs, when they when they post shit.
Yeah, okay, it seems a bit weird. This is draconian nonsense, and
it is it's another famous DeSantis messaging bill. But this one I see even less point in than the other ones that he's come out with.
I mean, it is ludicrous on its face, dude. Yeah. I'm not in Florida. I don't write a blog, but I have a podcast, and I'm on a podcast with another person. He's right there. This fucking guy.
There I am.
We're gonna talk shit about you this entire fucking election, and I don't like to speak for other people, but I think in this case I can speak for Brad. Chortle our balls. We're gonna say whatever the fuck we want. We're gonna say whatever we want. Fuck you, dude. Fuck off. Register? Are you serious? Should we wear a piece of flair for you too? What the fuck are you talking about? That's absolutely insane. But they're the article takes it very serious, and they're like, well, this could put a real chill on free speech. No, it's not. It's not gonna do anything. It's not gonna pass.
Yeah. Or even if it does, it's gonna get knocked down. SCOTUS wouldn't even look at this. If this somehow managed to get past an appeals court, this would get the SCOTUS's doorstep, and they'd be like, "What the fuck is this? Get this fuck out of here!" We're not even looking at this stupid thing.
Also, it is amazing. After watching that Jon Stewart interview, the sort of the gun argument is right at the front of mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing that a party that talks about not infringing on, can't infringe on Second Amendment or whatever. Here's another example. They're willing to infringe on people's free speech No problem. No problem. We're just like, could you maybe register your gun? You can have it, but can we register? And they're like, unacceptable. Oh, by the way, if you want to talk shit and you want to say you want to have free speech, the government requires that you register with them to make sure we know exactly where you are.
Right.
No.
Or your right to speak freely shall be infringed in the way of fines.
Yeah. Like, no. I would love to see them try to do this. That is fucking insane.
I mean, they're going to try, but I don't think it's going to be successful.
I would hope not. Like, this should be a fucking slam dunk for any level of like court, local, statewide, or at the SCOTUS level. Like, it's a fucking joke at that point. It's a complete fucking joke. But yeah, Florida coming in hot, man. There you go. Another one.
I mean, my before we move on to the next story, like my real, like the person that my heart is going out to the most tonight, in the wake of this news is Elon Musk, self-professed free speech absolutist, and Ron DeSantis is like his favorite fucking politician right now. He must be devastated.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he'll have a completely reasonable perspective on that. Elon Musk, a guy who defended the bigot from the Dilbert cartoons this week, saying, "Oh, he has his right as a First Amendment right to say whatever he wants." Really? What was the part of the government getting involved with Dilbert getting his ass dropped from 100 newspapers? Nothing. Hey, I'm Elon Musk, and I've been here for this many years, and I don't know what the First Amendment is. Congratulations.
By the way, though, you guys did a wonderful job discussing that particular story on Black on Black Cinema, and there's no way that I could do it as much justice as the three of you did. I'm still a little disappointed that it's not on our docket to talk about Scott Adams. We can talk about it.
Look, he's done.
I mean, I don't even know why I'm here podcasting with you. I was told by my idol Scott Adams to stay away from blacks.
just run away. He's done so much in his lifetime to help us. Like as I titled the episode, when doing absolutely nothing is just too much. Like. Truly
an epic, truly a Giuliani-esque level of fumbling the bag by Scott Adams.
Dude, fumbling the bag of a Rasmussen poll is amazing. It was so funny. It was so funny because right before we recorded that episode, like the three of us were talking, and Terrence goes, "So do you know where he got that survey?" And I was like, "I do." And he just burst out laughing. He was like, "Dude, that story is fucking crazy." I was like, "Yeah, it's nuts. Absolutely the worst people to listen to." You're like, "I'm going to stake my entire career on Rasmussen polling." I wouldn't have done that. Maybe done a little bit more research into those fucking guys. Next up, Christians could sue people who call them homophobic if this Florida State GOP bill passes. This somehow makes even less sense than the previous.
So I want to point out.
I love this one.
There are certainly places, and like heavily democratized places in the world, that have like speech laws on the books that you can get cited for using certain words. Yeah, Britain famously has speech laws where you can't use any like homophobic language against people or that kind of stuff. And the whole point, like the whole like free speech absolutist shit, is that America does not have these laws. Like that's kind of the whole fucking thing. It's kind of the whole deal.
It is, in fact. Well, turns out that's not how they fucking do it in Florida, my man. Again,
okay.
How are you going to enforce this?
How is it going to pass judicial scrutiny? It is not.
It will not.
I hate to break it to you.
A Florida Republican, an idiot, introduced a bill that would make it easier for religious people to sue those who call them homophobic or transphobic. A bill built on a suggestion from Governor Ron DeSantis. State Representative Alex Adrande filed HB 991 on Tuesday. The bill would make it easy to sue journalists, publications, or social media users for defamation if they accuse someone of. Now, I'm gonna need you to listen to the words that are gonna come right now. You could sue for defamation if they accuse someone of racism, sexism, homophobia, or transphobia. Are you sure you want to pass this bill? Are you sure? Because you're going to be flooded with people on the left saying that you were doing things racist to them, sexist to them, or calling them sexist, or calling them racist. Because, by the way, white conservatives love to call people racist. They're never right. They're never right. But they like saying that. Right? It's sexism against men.
I just like how
you won't give me your phone number. All right, cool. Go to jail.
I just like how they're trying to equate calling someone a racist or a homophobe or a sexist or a transphobe with the bigoted terms that they use against those people. Like that's yes. The thing that's getting me is they're trying to basically make being called a homophobe a slur is what this law is trying to do on the level of calling someone who's gay like the F word.
Right. So like a transgender Harvard Law School cyber law clinical instructor. Wow, that is a lot. Alejandra Caraballo called the bill absolutely chilling. Quote, if someone calls you, I'm just going to use the word so you know. I'm not using those words to be rude. If someone calls you a faggot or a tranny and you say they discriminated against you, they can now sue you. They can now sue you for at least $35,000 and cite their religious beliefs. This would also apply to the internet as well. This would empower bigots to target LGBTQ community with impunity. Again,
just assume this law is passed and enforceable. How exactly are you going to sue? Devin 357454545 like on Twitter. Like get him. He's got an egg in his pic. He's got an egg in his profile. Get him. Get right. Devin 357554545.
Right. Like, hey, and also like that, right? Like, how do you enforce that? Like, yes, Your Honor, I am trying to sue Clown Penis 495 for saying those words and calling me.
You think Twitter's gonna fucking you think social media companies are gonna comply with giving you user data just to support your dumb state law? Not without a huge fight, I guarantee.
Probably not, but it's Elon Musk. Probably not. But also, you're gonna cite like that's a weird thing for somebody to call a gay person the F word and be like, "Oh, that's my religious beliefs." There's nothing in the Bible that says like it's cool to say that. Like that's like, come on, man, that's bullshit. So it'll be really, again, this is not going anywhere. It's a terrible bill. It's dumb. It makes no sense, and it's completely it's anti constitutional, right? It's also completely unenforceable. Like the internet is full of people with like random fucking names and like fucking egg, profile images and shit like that. How the fuck could you possibly track that shit down?
Or what happens if someone like apes a well-known person and right. like and goes on a fucking screen and then like, oh, I'm suing Elon Musk. Like, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. Like, it says Elon Musk right here. Like, so it's nonsense. Again, another fantastic Republican messaging bill.
Deeply unserious.
Yeah, they are an unserious party. They are
just deeply unserious. Like the idea to tell religious people that being called a racist because you said something potentially racist is somehow equal to actual racism is ridiculous.
You know what? This really does, like, I think, not that we didn't know it before, but this definitively proves the point that you guys have been saying on Black Cinema and across the network for years that racist is the N-word for white people.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. Like, yeah, the bill, like, quite literally, like, you can't say the R word. Like, wait, the R word? No, the other R. Oh, okay. That's not a real. Yeah. That's not the word. Okay, like we have an R word. And
I have to remind everyone that it's the old John Mulaney bit. If you're talking about two words, right, and you can't say one of them, that's the worst word. Yeah, right. That's the worst one. So.
Midget is the N word, like for little people. No, it's not. It's not. We're saying the word right now. It might not be cool, but it's not the same. Like, knock it off.
Nope.
Like, yeah, you look. You can run out there and look. I believe in free speech. I absolutely believe in it. I believe you have a constitutional right to free speech, and I believe that if you want to go out and say the N-word, you absolutely should. You can get your constitutional rights and lefts from the local black person who you say it in front of. Like whatever you want, man.
Rights and lefts from the bare arms guaranteed by the Second Amendment.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like, there's nothing in the Constitution about consequences, my man. There's nothing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, people used to get shot with muskets back in the day. Like, it doesn't take that long to reload anymore. So, really wouldn't recommend it. Just keep your mouth shut. But this is a wild bill. It's a super wild bill. It makes no sense. It really doesn't.
Now, like, I want to try to figure out how many more First Amendment violating bills will the Florida legislation try to pass over the next just in 2023. Like we're just in March, man. Like, and we're already at 2.
Yeah, like
so. I can't imagine all the other ways they're going to violate free speech or try to.
If they can, look, they will figure it out. Like, violating free speech, let me count the ways. like they can't get enough. They just can't get enough. But they are a deeply unserious party. No serious party would come up with something this dumb. Because anybody working on a draft for this would be like, this violates the First Amendment. You can't, like, you can say whatever the fuck you want on the internet.
And here's my question. And this goes for the fucking blogger bill, too, for the record. Which voter are you appealing to necessarily by fucking driving this legislation forward? Like, what constituency are you really, like, making the appeal to?
So these are both.
You think this is going to win you moderate votes when you go run for president?
Hell no. No. Yeah. This is not aimed at moderate anything. This is solely. These are, like, I love that the right loves the term virtue signaling. They love you're virtue signaling that you care about how, if people die. Oh, the left, like, or no, actually, maybe I do care, really, for real. But this is them virtue signaling to the nuttiest people in their party. Hey, Ron DeSantis is your guy. Like, look at all this crazy shit he's gonna do to the left. It'll never happen. But we'll put it out there. Mm-hmm. That's all it is.
But again, like for and we talked about this 2 weeks ago or last week, whatever it was. For every insane thing that you do to win a primary, you're just giving ammunition That's right. to your opponent in the general. Like, hey, like, you pushed the bill to fucking to make it to try to register people who talked badly about you on the internet. No, I didn't. No, it's literally right here. Like, I have the bill. Like here it is.
And by the way, if you're Joe Biden and you're watching this, and I know that you are, no, you just have a laundry list of those bills that you supported. And I would just be like, look how fucking crazy. Do you want this crazy bullshit brought to the national stage? I don't think that you do. And just walk off stage. Like, Joe Biden 2024 out. Like, that's it. These are all the things that you support, dude. Like, oh, I didn't support it. Like, they wrote this shit after your suggestion. Like, that's nuts. You're gonna have people just saying all sorts of wild shit and then suing people on Twitter. What? Like, come on. It's dumb as fuck. This is dumb. And I love that. Oh, if publications say that you're a racist, then we'll go after them. Did you say something that was racist?
Okay.
Like, who determines what's racist then? You? The racist? I think not.
Yeah. Plus like let's what if it's not bad? So, and someone said that. Can you really sue a publication for posting an opinion? Like, I don't. Pretty sure you can't. But okay,
right? Like it's, yeah. And by the way, calling someone a racist is always an opinion.
Yeah,
technically, it is always an opinion.
And I also feel like this is DeSantis trying to one up Trump, because remember when Trump was like, he's like, oh, like I'm going to loosen the libel laws. I'm going to make it easier to sue publications and stuff like that. Like I feel like that this is kind of just going that next extreme.
Yeah, so. And guess what? How those libel laws do? They're fine, and they were not changed. And guess what? Same thing goes here. It's fucking dumb. And again, as a right winger, do you really want to open up a scenario where someone can then sue you for shit you say to them?
They never think about how the boomerang comes back around.
It would be severe. Okay, that's the end of the free portion for this week's episode of Look Forward. Make sure you go to lookforwardshow.com/premium. Sign up for premium content. It's only $5 a month or $50 for the full year.